Hi everyone, Rachel Jensen here, broker owner of Luna Realty Belize on the beautiful island of Ambergris Caye. We are back in the inbox today, which is when we answer questions that have been asked by folks like you who are looking at the real estate industry here in Belize. So we have 68 other great questions before this. If you're just tuning in, make sure you get to listen to those questions as well. But today we're going to be answering a question from Amy. And she said, I've never been to the island before, so it's hard for me to decide where I want to be. What should I know about each location? And when she says the island, she means Ambergris Caye here. But I'm even going to take a step back and say you don't necessarily need to know where you want to be, but you should know what's important to you, right? Sometimes people are looking at the entire country of Belize and they're like, okay, well, where in Belize should I buy? Where in Belize should I invest? And I can't answer that question for you, right? I can tell you more about the areas, but it would really be up to you to come down, to see it, to feel it, to make sure it feels right for you. But what I wanted to do was give you an overview of the areas. We're going to be specifically focusing on Ambergris Caye today. And then from there, hopefully that helps to narrow in on your property search if you are not planning to come down prior to owning property here. I know that more and more it's getting, difficult and people don't always have time to come down in person. And with technology, it is a great way to be able to see the property. You can do a Zoom overview or drone or whatnot, and so you can see what's around you. But we do want to discuss what each area feels like. But we're going to be focusing on Ambergris Caye today. Ambergris Caye is the largest key, the largest island off of the coast of Belize mainland. Takes about 15 minutes by puddle jumper, those little Cessna caravans from Belize City, or you can take a water taxi, which takes about an hour and a half from Belize City. That's where that star is over here. So largest key, it does parallel the reef, the largest living reef in the world. That's one of the big reasons why this island has continued to be the #1 tourism destination for the entire country, because it's the #1 tourism destination. It also is the largest expat area here in the country. So let's focus a little bit more in on the map. Now, I know it's going to be a little bit hard to read this. There's a lot going on. So do me a favor and focus for a little bit. I know sometimes it's hard to focus, but focus with me as we're talking so that we can really nail down on the important aspects of each area. Now, obviously, it's 26 miles long, and you can see by the little points that they're there that there's lots going on. So we're not going to get into the nitty gritty, but I want to give you a quick overview. And then what I always recommend is if you have about 30, 45 minutes, reach out to us. We can pull up a big map, a surveyed map of Ambergris Caye on Zoom and go through it one-on-one with you to show you more about what's going on. It's just a quick overview to get you introduced to the island of Ambergris Caye here. So the island is about 25, 26 miles long from north to south. It is indeed an island. It's not a peninsula. I've had a couple of people say, oh, it's actually a peninsula. No, the Mayans did build the channel at the northern part of the island there. So it is standalone and is part of Belize, as we are fully aware. When the island was first starting, it was focusing in that San Pedro Town area. So you'll see San Pedro Town right over here. And then there's the bridge. You see that green hexagon there. That's the bridge that goes up north. But the island was really started and focused around San Pedro Town. And as there was more people coming down, the population here was increasing, the island was increasing as well, and the population was increasing. So the development was increasing north and south of San Pedro Town. So when you come here, you'll land in the town, whether you're flying in or you're taking the water taxi, it's all here in the central area of San Pedro Town. And then based on where you're looking to be, you'll either go north or you'll look to go south. Now, San Pedro, it's fun, it's colorful, it's vibrant, it's the heart of the island over here. And it's where you have a lot of the restaurants, the prime souvenir shops. It's just a really beautiful, colorful town to be walking around in. You'll see tons of activity, tons of golf carts. It's where we have the event stadium as well, where they'll do the big events like the Independence Day celebration. Band members practicing in there. The sports teams are practicing in there. So there's a lot going on just within San Pedro Town. So as the island was developing, though, a lot of it was developing on the southern side first. And so what happened was a lot of that land that was there was chopped up into smaller parcels. So what you'll find as you go down south is you'll find more single family homes, larger expat areas, not necessarily too many resorts. Now, the #1 hotel on the island right now, based on TripAdvisor reviews as of May 2024, is based on the southern side of the island over here called Pelican Reef, but you're primarily going to be finding more of the larger resorts north. And the reason for that is because the land north wasn't really subdivided into smaller parcels. So for developers who were coming in, it was easier for them to get larger tracts of land so that they can do larger development. But down on the southern side of the island, it was divided into smaller tracts of land. So if you wanted to get, an acre on the beach, you had to find multiple owners and see if they'd all be willing to sell in order to get that property south, in the southern part. Now, once you go north, you're able to find those larger tracts of land. So that's why down in the southern part of the island, you do tend to find that it's more residential. We do find that people who are looking in this area are people who are looking for it to be quieter. It tends to remind me a bit of Placencia or Hopkins, where you have nice structures, nice single families. You have Airbnbs down there as well. It's quieter, generally quieter. So you don't necessarily have tons of restaurants or shopping, and you don't necessarily have tons of attractions that would bring tourists down there to that part, which I know a lot of people, don't necessarily, when you're living here full time, you don't necessarily want to be amongst all of the tourists. So you can see a little arrow here from like the Playa del Sol area, I would say down south towards Mosquito Coast, Boca Ciega, Club Caribbean, Tarpon Bay. This is an area where you'll find those more single family homes, primarily expats, although there are, of course, locals mixed in as well. Where you see the red electricity, little red lightning bolts, that's where the electricity goes. So electricity actually does go to the southern side of the island and then continues up the coast. And then where you see it here on the top area by Tranquility Bay, that's where it stops. So it does run along the coastline. It does not run west to the Secret Beach area. And a lot of people have been asking about that. But it also does, the electricity does go out here to the west side, the southwest side of the island, just right across the lagoon that's directly across from San Pedro Town. There wasn't a submarine cable that was brought out just to this little area right over here. I have a whole different session on electricity and utilities, so I'll put that link below if you want to tune in there to see where exactly the utilities are. But just for your sake, so if you're looking to build or you're looking at a property down south, you can expect to be on public electricity. So with that being said, south, you find more of the primary, we're going to start south and then work up. You'll find more of the residential, more of a residential area with a couple of smaller hotels and condo complexes thrown into the mix. All right, so continuing on, we see Alaya. Alaya is a Marriott Autograph Collection hotel. It is a beautiful 5-story building on the southern side of the island. You also have the Hilton on the southern side at Mahogany Bay. They also have a Marriott, and well, Marriott, obviously, as you can see there, as the Alaya on the southern side. So you can see that there are branded hotels in this area. But and as you get to the area like Alaya and Mahogany Bay, you start to see more little restaurants pop up compared to as you continue on down south. Also, once you're on the west side of Alaya, so the road, there's the road, Alaya on the east side, and then the west side of the road is where you tend to find more of the local neighborhoods. So if you hear towns like San Pablo, San Marcos, Escalante, DFC, that's this area right over here to the west side of Alaya, and then continuing up towards the airport. Then you'll see a little airport there. That's this general area here. And here you tend to have a mix of locals and expat families because there are a handful of schools in this area. You do tend to find people who have children are living here. It's a great community. Kids are still playing out in the streets, around the parks, running around barefoot. And that's where you tend to find more of the locals. Very, very safe. And just generally across the island, it's very safe as well. But that's what you tend to find in this area over here. Also, in this area, like the San Pablo, San Marcos, Escalante, DFC area, we're finding people who, expats who don't necessarily need to be beachfront, but want to be close to town, want to be close to amenities, but don't necessarily want to be like in the heart of the tourism. And so as a result, you tend to find properties here that are more affordable than properties that are on the coast, for example, but yet you can be in the beach or at the Caribbean in just a couple of minutes. So really great. It's like a wholesome family area is how I recommend and advise folks when they're looking at that area there. All right, so as we're continuing on, as we continue into town, it is continuing to get busier and busier. Ambergris Caye is a destination that's continuing to grow. It's been really exciting just to see all of the new projects coming. And even now people are just generally hearing about Belize, whereas previously when I first moved down here in 2012, I remember telling my family I was going to Belize and they're like, where's that? And I was like, I don't actually know myself, but I looked at pictures and it looks beautiful. So, come visit me at some point. And now, now, of course, more and more people are hearing about Belize. And so there's just growth happening in all directions. But as you can see, when you're looking on the northern side of the bridge, So here's the bridge. It's that green hexagon, and then it says bridge there. When you see the Tres Cocos, Buena Vista, like this area, the first couple miles over the bridge is like what we refer to as the Beverly Hills of the island. This is where you tend to see a lot of nice single family homes. There's been a lot of construction happening here as well. Some more grocery stores, hardware stores that are going in, because as the island continues to grow, and you can see when you look north of the bridge, that there's a ton of land up there. There's not really much land down south, right? But there's tons of land up north. So of course it makes sense for the development to be going in that northward direction. We call it in the path of progress. So as the development continues, there's going to be a need and a demand for places like grocery stores, hardware stores, gas stations. And so all of that is going in. A gas station was just constructed, opened about 6-7 months ago, right there over the bridge. Once you go over the bridge, whereas previously you had to go into town to get gas. So of course that's exciting. And then once you go right over the bridge on the left-hand side, there's a local town called San Mateo, which is where you'll find a couple of more schools for local families as well. So continuing up, and then you're in that Beverly Hills area, nicer single family homes. And then once you get to the Buena Vista, I would say north of the bridge to about this area that says Newtown on the coast here, this area has been booming with people who are looking for coastal property. I know a lot of times people are looking for property that's unique, especially as we're thinking about land banking, coastal property to be able to hold on to and sell down the line, or maybe they're just dreaming about their Caribbean property. And because of the accessibility of this area from the bridge up to this Newtown area, people are looking within here. So just to give you a frame of reference, if you're going from the bridge to Club Caribbean, the southern part of the island, it takes about 25 minutes. Now, once you go from the bridge up to the Secret Beach turnoff, not all the way to the beach, but just the turnoff, it's about another 25 minutes. So 4 or 5 years ago, people were looking amongst this grouping here, this group of a few miles here for properties. But now, just because it's impossible to find affordable properties in this region, people are just this neighborhood, people are continuing to go north, and then they'll continue to go north. So from what I've seen, this is just from me talking to folks, but from the clients that we've been working with, a lot of them are looking within this Punta Alegre, like Newtown South area, because once you go north, it just gets to be a little bit more remote. Now, a lot of this depends on your timeline, right? If you are looking to relocate right away and you want stuff around you, then you probably don't want to be going up 9 miles north. I know 9 miles doesn't sound like a lot if you're used to driving in a car, in a golf cart. I would say it takes about an hour, 50 minutes to an hour from the bridge to go up to this area. So you just want to be prepared for that. But if you're somebody who likes the isolation, or you don't want to be around other people, then you can see my little arrow right over there. From that, I'd say Habaneros to about Robles, this mile 10 to 14 is perfect if you don't want neighbors in the near future. The electricity stops here at Tranquility Bay. So if you go ahead more north than that, then you are primarily going to be off grid, unless you want to be pulling the electricity from where it's at Tranquility Bay. And then once you continue up north, I've seen some properties up there, for $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 on the beach, and people are dreaming about building their beachfront property there in a couple of years. I would say you're too soon. You're a little too soon for up there. I would say it's a great area to hold on to land bank if you are thinking in terms of decades. But I would say that it's a great for future property. But if you're looking to relocate here or spend significant time here, I would say that's not the best area to be building in, just because there's just nothing up there. So you will need to have security. People, I say, are opportunists. If they see an empty home on the coast, they'll go see if you have a TV that they can borrow and maybe not return, right? But you typically would just be up just a little bit further, a little bit more isolated. So now, with that being said, let's continue back down for a minute to go back to Beverly Hills and the Newtown area over here. So this right over the bridge to about this Newtown is where we're seeing a bulk of people who are looking to land bank, who are looking for condos, properties generally, because it is being in that path of progress. The road stops about right over here, where that's a little bit before the Secret Beach turnoff. So to go from the bridge to about that Secret Beach turnoff, it's about 25 minutes. And I say the pavement stops. It's not the road, the pavement stops. But the road is graded, and you will continue on up north. Once you get a little bit past Sapphire Beach, you're starting to drive on the beach, and that's the primary road, the primary access way up north. But you are still able to drive. But again, you're in a golf cart, so things take a little bit longer. Now, I do want to highlight Secret Beach for a moment. So Secret Beach is a really interesting property to me. I remember going up there 12 years ago in a golf cart, and it took us like an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes. At that point, there was no paved road over the bridge, so we were driving on the beach and going in and out and going around things, and definitely was not what it is today. But it has certainly grown into be this incredible area of the island that is the top tourism destination for sure. People are always going to to Secret Beach at least once as a tourist. Now, this area, I would say, is geared towards people who want to be off grid. Because I don't know when utilities are coming. We get that question quite a bit. I don't know when utilities are coming to Secret Beach. I hear things all the time. I've been here long enough to know that I believe it when I see it. But if you're looking in this area, do plan to be off grid. So there's no public water, there's no public electricity in the Secret Beach. Secret Beach is also comprised of many different neighborhoods. So if you're looking in the Secret Beach area, do note that you may not be right there on the beach, right? So people say, I can get a Secret Beach property, beachfront property for 45,000. No, that's not true. Beachfront property at Secret Beach is anywhere starting at about $550,000 plus if you want to be on the beach. But this area, it's comprised of about 4,000 lots. This is one of the only areas on the island where you can find property under 50,000. The only other area is in that Newtown area that I mentioned, at a development called Platinum Point, a new subdivision that's going on up there. But other than that, if you're looking in that 45 to 50,000, those are really the only two options for you to be looking in right now. But prices are going up. We've continued to see prices going up, just depending where on the coast you are, where on the island you are. You will tend to find that some properties will appreciate sooner than others. If you're in the path of progress, you tend to find that there's more appreciation. I always recommend that people spend about if you're looking at a land bank, at least 3 years to get the best appreciation for your property. Obviously, the longer, even better, but at least 3 years is what I would recommend if you're looking to hold on to property. All right, this was just like a crash course, but what I recommend is reaching out to us. I'll send you that map that you just saw so you can blow it up, zoom in, zoom out. And then also reach out because we do like to do Zoom overviews. So what we'll do is share our screen, go through the different areas and neighborhoods with you to be able to give you more in-depth information. I know you guys don't have like 4 or 5 hours to sit here and do that. And we're not going to do it. It's not going to be 4 or 5 hours on our Zoom. It would be about 30 minutes. But just to give you a real clear picture of where things are going, what's happening, the different areas, show you examples of homes in that area, and then from there be able to have a more educated conversation with you about what it is that you're looking to accomplish. We have a fantastic team here at Luna Realty Belize. All of our experts are here on the ground, live here in San Pedro, are either from the island or have been living here for a very long time. And our goal is to make sure that you are learning as much as you can about real estate here, and then of course helping you to find the right property for you. My name is Rachel Jensen. Reach out to us, info@lunarealtybelize.com, and we hope to hear from you. Bye, everyone.